So hello and welcome back to round 12 of season 16 of Division 2 on FTRL, and this evening we are at a very damp looking Canada, or Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve, for round 12. So as you can see, it's very damp. Everyone out on inters at the moment, so whether it's going to get drier or whether it's going to get wetter throughout the session play a massive part in the tyres. Quite good people are going to want to get out here. If it gets drier throughout, then we're going to see a lot of people coming out right at the very last second. Yeah, but back again for round 12. It wasn't here last week. I think it was Junkie Sport. The commentary last week. I had on a week off, but I am back from now till the end of the season, and obviously with Dan Morris going up to Div 1, it's Kieran Trapp who's comfortably out in the lead of the championship now. I think it's Def Chip behind, who I don't think is racing this evening. So then behind that I think it might be Casey Bernard. Someone else to possibly fight for the championship, though Kieran is in a very commanding position. There is someone who started last week, I believe, who is Sparks. He got second, I believe, last week in Singapore. And I think we've got another one new person this evening, which I believe is in the McLaren, which is I'll go from it. It is Baboonji. Yeah, so that's a bit of a mouthful to pronounce. Baboonji. Who's currently just starting a lap. Sparks got second last week. Alex Pixie's put on the wets, interestingly. So we'll see about that. That new McLaren driver has just invalidated his lap. Catamies has not, so very close to the wall. Good evening, Fever. So this will be a very interesting quality to watch and see what the pole time will be. Usually it's about the 7s, 8s round here, so not going to be easily into the 13s, 14s probably, I'd imagine. I don't entirely sure, that's a complete guess, but we'll see. But yeah, Div 2 has had a lot of wet races this season. Got a wet qualifying. Academies is a little bit wide. You might get away with that. It's not a corner you need to be too much on the inside for there, as he heads down the straight towards the very tricky last little chicane at the Wall of Champions at the exit. We'll see how he navigates that. Doesn't invalidate and does the Wall of Champions pretty nicely indeed, as Kieran Trapp says. It's a 120.7 or 121.2, so I was miles off the times. But I think I was a bit optimistic. Good evening, Lee of Call. Who is racing at the moment in the pits. Very nice relaxing time watching the Wickweller fall around the island, which the circuit is built on. Luckily though, in the game we don't have any groundhogs to contend with. Lots of furry little animals that like to make an appearance every so often around here. Oscar, what's he on? He's on a lap at the moment, and he's coming down towards the very tricky last corner, though I believe by looking at his time he is miles down on what he needs to be anywhere near the top. So yeah, he's on for 23 goal. He is indeed 23-1, so he's a little bit away from where he would like to be. Zombie, he's coming down towards the same chicane. Misses the apex slightly on the first part. Casey Bernard is the first man to break into under the 20-second barrier. 19.8. Zombie's a bit down as well, 21.9. Brutus, he's usually someone you can rely on to be pretty consistent. He's not the best through that little corner. The best through that chicane there. He's down now to what I believe one of the trickier corners on the track. Can quite easily invalidate there, but he does it fairly nicely. We'll see what second sector time looks like as Enton heads down into the slowest corner on the circuit. His quite a difficult corner that can be, especially in the wet. Gets the power down and heads down the straight towards the last few corners of the lap. Well, Sparks yet again showing a bit of pace in P3. Casey Bernardo, very solid time, 19.8 compared to the rest so far. Decent from Brutus, doesn't hit the wall. And it's going to be a bit off though, it's 21 something, this is 21.5, so it's a little bit off what I'd expect from Brutus actually. So while it was a bit of a dodgy lap or not, we shall see. Oscar is P3, Alex Pixie has invalidated his lap. Max's sign, this looks a really decent lap, it is indeed, it's P2. So very decent to lap that from Max's sign. I think he was the winner, but did manage to catch a tiny little bit, so but I do believe Max's sign was the winner last week out at Singapore. That was after our little break we had. Season break. Aaron Trucker, he's on and out lap. Max Death saying don't drink and drive. I'm assuming Max Death is once again drinking and driving. He usually is. While playing the F1 game, to be fair. But 7 minutes gone, and Casey Bernard is currently on provisional pole. Max's time's P2. Quite a few people haven't set a lap time yet. It's a tricky one with track limits around here. Quite a lot of places. Turn 1, there's a big place where you invalidate a lap, and then you've got the kind of turn 3, where it's quite easy to turn 5 as well. Thinking you can do it turn 5 as well. So technically that's turn 6 actually. Turn 5 is that little curve. Turn 6, turn 8, and turn 12 and 13. So there's a very long list of places where you can invalidate around here, as Casey Bernard has improved in 19.4. That's a further 4 times. That man saying he hates rain in the chat. Well, that's probably not a very good thing for Div 2, as there's been some amount of it this season. He'll be pretty up to speed in rain. And he says he also hates Canada, so that's a good mix there you've got there, Batman. He hates both of the things which are currently going on at the moment, Canada and the rain. You don't like rain, don't live in Scotland, that's a lucky thing. You get a lot of it around here. Lee has said that has not gone well. Yes, he has. And sadly, while I was actually having a look at the chat, he has retired. So, yeah. Well done, Lee. It's gone great. Aaron Trucker, very wide on the exit there. He very nearly actually hit the wall on the exit, so he was far too wide on that exit of that corner, which is exactly where you want to be. We shall see how he gets on with the final few corners. Make sure he doesn't hit the wall of champions, which usually actually it's probably a little bit easier. He's actually well away from the wall. Probably a little bit easier in the wet actually, because you're that much more trying to avoid it, if that makes sense. As it's wet, you know there's more chance of sliding, things like that, so you're probably a bit more cautious, whereas in the dry you can kind of take a little bit too much into it and then you have no chance. But in the wet you might actually be a little bit more cautious, so it might be a little bit easier actually. Wall champions very close to the wall there. I have to just complete this lap. Max Steph, is he on a lap? He's at the hairpin. Just as you lead onto the straight, he's also very, very wide as well. He got away with it. Katamis on to the front row of the grid provisionally up into P2, though yet to break the 22nd, 1 minute 22nd barrier, which the only man to do that is currently our provisional post, just done 19.4. It's quite comfortably. Max Steph has very much invalidated there, far too much curb. So it's a prime example of what can happen around here. Very, very easily invalidated it. So I'm actually surprised so many people have actually completed a lap. Because it's notorious, this track. It's probably one of the worst tracks for penalties in this whole game. Probably vying with Mexico, I'd say. Mexico's probably one of the worst with that middle sector. But this place is pretty horrendous for penalties. 50.2 for the first two sectors. Gets it slowed down over the corner and accelerates, and off he goes down the straight. Maybe a little bit of VRS as Newman has broken the 1 minute 20 second barrier. It's Uwat _Babunje 19.8. And Kieran Trapp then decides to beat the 20-second barrier as well and goes into heat 3 with a 19.9, but still nowhere near Casey Bernard, who has definitely been on form at the moment. Next catch is up into P5, 20.2, not far off either. Aaron Trucker, is he up on his time? I believe he is. He's up 2 attempts. He's up 3 attempts now. So here we go. It's a decent lap. This is going to break the 20-second barrier as well if he gets a good run out over the last sector. Yep. So it's like a good lap from Aaron Trucker. Could pull him up into P2 here if he gets a good last sector. So as he heads down using his ERS, as Brutus Beer breaks the 19-second barrier, so the track is getting quicker, 18.9. That's setting down a marker, very much so. And Aaron Trucker 19.1, so he's gained a massive amount of time in that last sector. I don't know if that last sector is drying or something, but he's just found a full second in that last sector nearly. So that's a hell of a chunk of time. It's a difficult low sector, but that's a lot of time. The rain does seem to get a bit lighter, so that's an awful lot of time. So Max's sign pops onto P3, so definitely this track is ramping up, and the drivers are getting much more used to the conditions. Seeing a lot of improvement now. People there have improved by over a second. Oscar's not on a lap at the moment. Sparks is nearly 3.5 tenths up through the first sector alone, which is a solid improvement, though it's that last sector which seems to be the big improver at the moment, as the rain, you can see, has notably decreased since the start of the session. Very committed through there. Just enough curb, no more. And he's now 7 tenths up, purple through sector 2. This is the sector, though, which I feel he's going to make all of his time up. This could be provisional pole from Sparks here if he gets it, but he's wiggling all over the shot on the pebble there. But it's this sector, so we shall see how much is he going to improve. He's already up by, I think, 8-9 tenths. So if he improves by a second, then we definitely know that it is this last sector which is providing that extra benefit at the moment. Not too committed through that last corner. He's coming across the line, and it's another 19.8, so it's another improvement, but nowhere near as much as all our drivers at the moment. It's not looking like it's going to be dry by the time we so there'll be any dry tires. It'll definitely be still winters, but the track clearly is getting quicker and quicker. So we're getting to the end of this session with under 5 minutes remaining. The McLaren's coming out. This will be most people's last laps. The last few laps, bear in mind it is only quite short lap, a little bit longer in the wet obviously, but in the dry it's a very, very, very quick lap around here. Good evening, Max. Max's notorious phrase, copy that. I think he thinks he's Jeff, the legend himself. What's his sign? Was he on a lap? He is indeed. He's under a 10 up. So you can see how much it is getting quicker and quicker here. It's a lot drier than it was when it started. The rain is still going, but it's not raining that much at all at the moment. Last corner, how committed does he go? Reasonably committed. He comes across the line. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. It's very tight. It's 7 thousandths behind Brutus. There we go. You watch. The Bungie clearly has cut the final corner before he started the lap, and is sadly invalidated. So that's something you need to not do. You didn't get to start your lap. Boss man coming around first sector, and he's a solid over 3 times up through the first sector, just showing you the amount of improvement. What's happening with Matt Man at the moment? He is coming through the first sector as well. Let's see his first sector time. He hasn't yet to complete a lap, and he's a little bit down on everyone else, actually, must be said. Bossman has invalidated. Well, we're on board with that, so it's sadly all over for him. Zombie has just started a lap as well, but I think we'll watch people up the top end. Kieran, what's happening with Kieran? He's on a lap at the moment. He has just invalidated though, so he's going to have to charge that battery and go again. Casey Bernard's a solid 2.5 tenths up. He was the provisional pole setter for quite a lot of this session until the last few minutes. He's up by quite a bit through the first sector. If they can keep this up through the last two sectors with a similar improvement, it'll be on for pole position. It's a huge improvement. It's over half a second up through the first sector, and he gets it nicely turned in. Gets the power on at the moment. If he keeps this up, this is going to be provisional pole, but bearing in mind this track is getting so much faster. The rain is barely falling, so I think there'll be a lot more improvement to come. And he's come down to the final few corners. How committed he's going to be through the wall of champions. He's not invalidated, and he's not hit the wall of champions, and he's heading down. It's going to be provisional pole at the moment, and it's an 18.668 for Casey Bernard. Brutus has invalidated his lap. Aaron Trucker is down on his time. Alex Pixie has just completed that lap and is set at 19.5. Oscar's going at the moment for his last lap. Sparks is on an out lap as well. Kieran, I think, is going again after his invalidation. Oscar going very, very committed through there. And he's under a 10th up through the first sector. Very committed on the inside, using a lot of curb. Very nicely on the power. Very committed is Oscar. He's got a solid, nearly a second to make up though if he wants pole position. Terrible camera angle from Codemaster, so we'll go on board as he's coming down, and he gets a little bit of a slide, catches it very nicely though, and comes down towards the hairpin. He is up, but not by very much at all, Oscar, so it doesn't look like Oscar's going to improve anywhere near enough. Kieran is purple through the second sector. Brutus has given up now, so Brutus has retired in the pits, so he's at best going to be P2, though the two directly behind him are not improving and they're in the pits. That Racing Point gets out of the way. Kieran Trapp coming down now to the last few corners and towards the line. This looks like a solid lap from Kieran. It's going to be close, but it's not enough, and it's a very nice round 19 flat from Kieran. Very nice time. I like when that happens. Doesn't happen often, mind you. Oscar, is he going again? I don't think he's got enough ERS to go again, in all honesty, but he is up by quite a bit on his time, so we'll keep on board. So everyone's going to be the last lap now as the time runs out. Oh my god, Oscar with a Beckham moment on the exit there. Improvements are coming still though from quite a few people. And what's the second sector time going to be? He's lost all of that time he made up in the first sector, and he's not improving either. Sparks is on a lap, so Sparks to go, and I think that might be near enough it, to be honest. I don't think anyone else is on a lap. Someone's improved there. I think that was Bossman, just improved. Sparks coming round. He is invalidated sadly, and he backs off. Zombie is not improving either. Catamies is not improving. Catamies is miles down. He's P13. So is Nexus Cats. He's P14. And we were going to say 4 people at the back. Max Def, Catamies, Nexus Cats and Matman all down there. But Kieran at the last gasp has nicked pole. With a 1:18.5 he went again. And he has set a 1:18.519 to take pole at last gasp from Casey Bernard. So he lines up on first place. Casey Bernard P2, Brutus P3, going to be Max's time P4, Aaron Trucker P5, Oscar's P6, Alex Pixie P7, Bossman's 8, the new man is P9, Sparks is 10, it's Zombie, Max Def, Catamies, Nexus Cats, Matman and Lee Saddledink a lap in. I must say, there's a few people that are quite out of position there down the back end. But also, I must say, this is an awfully competitive Div 2. Now, I mean, there's not a lot of drivers anymore, especially racing tonight, which are back markers at all. These are all extremely competitive drivers. There is not a lot between all of them. I think if it was dry, a lot of these are very closely matched in terms of pace. I think it's probably the most competitive Div 2 I've had in FTRL now. When you look at the drivers and things like that, that's very, very competitive, especially when you see people like Katamis, who's by no means slow, down in P13. Next is Katz, who's been on form recently in P14. You get Sparks, who was P2 last week, down in P10. You get a lot of drivers in there which are very, very quick. So what an interesting qualifying session that was. Now, we're going to have to see what is the weather for the race. Excellent. Quite a few people, I would say, about out of position there. You wouldn't expect to see Mark, Steph, Katamis, Nexus, Katz and Matman all the way down there. Definitely not. My God, it's very, very wet. Oh dear God, that's not even inters. I think that's full wets, to be fair. It looks it to me. Once again, what is it with Div 2? It's got its own microclimate, I believe, this division. Never seen so much rain in one season in my life. It's just constant. It's always raining. I think it's jinxed this division, if I'm honest. Now, this is gonna be a demanding race. It's a lot of laps here in the wet for these drivers to cope with, and what a circuit is fairly straightforward, this circuit, but there's quite a few places which can really catch you out, particularly that last corner. So this will be very, very demanding, and I believe it is full wets. It is indeed full wet conditions here at Canada. It is atrocious looking at the moment. You can see every single driver are on the wet tyres to start, 35 laps ahead of them. It is absolutely pelting it down here. This Grand Prix, it's absolutely atrocious. This is going to be very difficult for the drivers today around here. And here we go. I'm hopeful, I'm assuming they've all put on full wet setups, but we could have quite a few retirements here, I feel. 16 drivers. My prediction is under. Oh my God! Next is Cat and Katamis. I've had a collision under the formation lap. My prediction is that under 10 people will finish this race. So I believe there will be at least 6 retirements. I think under 10 people will finish here. So I think a lot of points will be on offer for the finishers this evening. And I think, to be honest, pretty much anyone could win this race with these kind of conditions. But it all depends on the weather. Are we going to get a wet to dry race? At the moment, it doesn't look anything like we're going to get any dry weather. Max says, will you finish the race? I have confidence you will finish the race, Max. As long as you stop drinking alcohol and if you start continue keep drinking alcohol and you're severely intoxicated, then you might think the World Champions is, I don't know, a swimming pool or something. You might die, put it that way, so stop drinking, please. For your sanity right now. Copy that. There's the two Ferraris that have collided with each other already. As we're lining up for what I believe will be an extremely interesting race to watch. Good luck to all of the drivers here, as this will be treacherous and pretty horrendous to drive on, I would imagine. And I think everyone has now just about lined up. We have now. There we go. So Kieran Trapp starts on pole for round 12 as the lights come on for what is a very wet Grand Prix, and the lights are out and away we go for round 12. A very, very slow start by all the drivers, and straight away Casey Bernard on the grass on the outside. He's been swamped, I think, by the two drivers. He's down at P4 already, and a little bit of nudging in the background there. There's a Renault of Brutus in P5. A very, very tentative start from Noel Casey Bernard, though, ending up on the grass. He's away down, I'm away down in P7 now, I think. believe he's way down the order. If he is, no, he's not on down in P7. He's still P4. It's the order has changed down on the left again. But very, very slow start from them all trying to find a way through. As that's Alfa Romeo and a Ferrari battling of Nexus Cats and Zombie, and they're going side by side. Still, I think Nexus Cats is still. I think he's won that out. Zombie's just going to sit behind. He has indeed. So as the leaderboard on the left sorts itself out, it has indeed. Alex Pixie's had a moment clearly. Down the order, he's down to P13 now. Has he lost wing by the look of it? He might have lost wing. He's now being attacked by Alex Pixie. He has. He's lost an end plate. You can see that's why he's lost his position. He's probably had a bit of contact with a wall there. So he'll be in shortly. He might get away with it though in the wet. The enforce isn't as paramount in the wet. So we'll see what happens here. But Kieran leads on lap 1 from Brutus P2. Max is in P3. Keith Bernard's going to have to recover from P4 now after that incident he had near the start. Oh, you what? Babunji on his debut has hit the safety car is out, has hit the exit of the wall of champions, and it looks like he span onto the inside wall as Oscar has had a collision with Nexus Cats under the safety car, and Alex Pixie's in the pit. So there we go, one falls already on his debut. Sadly for Yuwot Babunji, it's all over for him after lap 1. It's all over for him. Though his car is still going, I believe. It moved, so I'm assuming maybe he's spun and given up. Or not, or maybe it's just been a bit of a glitch, as I can see the safety car's out now. Well, it's gone now, so I don't know what's happened there. Why his car was moving for a bit. But there we go, safety car 1. Oh, I'm sure many in these conditions, and 1 retirement already. So 16 we started with, we're down to 15 now. What will we finish on is the question here. I think drivers now catch back up to that safety car. It's just at the exit of turn 2, turn 3, sorry actually. There we go. Straight away, it didn't take long, did it, for someone to come a cropper in these sorts of conditions. If we'd expect it though, to be fair. Pretty awful looking. It's helped Alex Pixie out a lot though. Had that safety car right at the right time, so he had wing damage and he had to go into the pits. So not very good for him. Be a very long race though, this one. These kind of conditions. Hopefully we'll get it drying out a little bit to get a little bit of variation on the tyres. But at the moment it looks pretty horrendous, it must be said. So hopefully we won't have too long behind the safety car before we get underway. Yeah, not the start he wanted, Casey Bernard. Yeah, he got a little bit eager on the throttle, I think, and he had to catch it, and he went on the grass on the outside, losing 2 positions in the progress. Luckily, he's still in P4. That could have been a lot worse. Could have ended his race straight away there, that. So he has definitely got away with it. Well, down the order, let's have a little look at the position change. Let's see who's been the big beneficiaries of the start. Casey Bernard down 2. As we're aware, Sparks is up 5. He's had a monster start. Aaron Trucker's down 1. Nexus Cat's up 7. He started 14th. He's now up to P7. Oscar's down 2. Zombie's up 2. Catamese is up 3. Bossman's down 3. Max Def is maintained position. Leaker's up 3. Mapman's up 1. Alex Pixie down 8 after that wing damage. And obviously you've got Babunji as retired. There we go. Catamese. Nexus Cats and Sparks are the biggest real improvers there in terms of position. After a little bit of chaos at start, though, in terms of what they were dealing with, that was a reasonable start. It wasn't a retirement there until what looks like a bit of a mistake on his own by the McLaren man. But in terms of only 1 bit of wing damage, and bearing in mind quite a difficult little start complex of corners around here with turn 1, and it tightens up with turn 2. It's a lot slower, and obviously with these conditions, obviously with the traction and things like that, and there's quite a decent sized traction zone at a turn 2 very early on. They've all managed to navigate it fairly okay, to be fair. They've done a very good job. The safety car will be in this lap. Hopefully we can get back underway. We'll see what the weather will do. Will it dry out, or will it just continue at this kind of ferocity? In which case it will be a full wet race. I'd like to see a wet to dry race. It's always interesting. Wet to dry race, or even a wet to dry, wet enters wets. That's always fun when it keeps changing between the compounds. That's always fun. Safety car in this lap, as you can see, come up down the bottom and the lights are off. So Kieran will start to back the pack up. If you can hear a bird in the background, I'm very, very sorry, but there's a bird literally outside our window which is actually screaming a little. So apologies if you can hear that. I'm very loud bird. Shut up. Bucker off. Right, Kieran Trapp accelerates out of the last corner. This is Cats has got Oscar. Are they battling already? As Katamise has got Zombie. He's gone down. That's Katamise has got Oscar and Zombie, sorry. Katamise pushes Oscar off the track. It's a very aggressive. Oscar's managed to keep it going though. Oh, he's got a bit of a moment on traction. He's now been swamped, and he's got Max Def overtaking him now as well. He's down a P12. Remember, he has that penalty as well, so that will drop him all the way down the back at the moment as it stands. Kieran Trapp has got away. Brutus going a different line through that chicane. Not far between the front two at the moment. He's keeping tabs on the man in front. Brutus, he's ever present near the front. Brutus, he's always up there. Can deal with all sorts of conditions, deal with having a bad quality. He's very, very consistent. I think he's improved a lot in his driving skill as well since he started. He's been here quite a while now though. Good 4 or 5 seasons I think. He's going to be under pressure though. Max's signing from Casey Bernardo looks like here on the run down. We might be able to keep him behind at the moment. Very, very close to the back. And in the front 5 making a mistake. Aaron Trucker getting past behind as well. So is Katamise, Zombie, Steph, Oscar as well. So everyone getting past the wall of champions. Okay there. Front 5 all very close together. A bit of a gap behind 1.3. A yellow flag for in sector 1. I think it was from Matt Man possibly. Or Alex Pixie. Alex Man I think has lost an M plate there. I think it's left side, is it? Or am I seeing things? No, I can't really see. It's a terrible camera angle to make out. Yeah, he has. I think he's lost both end plates actually. Alex Pixie, he's away as well. He's a bit detached as well. So whether he lost wing at the start, he has lost wing as well. So both of the back two have lost wing somewhere along the line. Oh, into the pits. So we put it on Inters. That's a very early call, but the rain has actually quite quickly stopped. Okay, they are. Inters, it's Inters. Well, here we go. Very, very early on. They've put on Inters. Sparks has made an error. Or Pete Sparks has made an error. He hasn't changed the tyre compound. He's went to go into Inters, I believe, and he's put on new wets. So sadly for Sparks, he's going to have to come back in. It actually is Inters. You can see it's so much drier. Can Casey Bernard, how quick is Casey Bernard going to go here? How much is he going to catch up? Can he do the undercut and jump Kieran and Brutus here? And Maxi Syme? Is there a possibility? It's much easier to tell when it's going to dries than it is wet to enters, because it's a bit more of an intertwining crossover point, I believe. It's kind of a little bit more awkward. But he's gaining rapidly onto the back of Lee. Willie catches up to Lee though, and that hinders him. I don't think he will properly catch up. I might actually get a bit of slip here around. He's catching up massively. This is going to be very interesting as Brutus has come in. So is Maxi Syme. Kieran Trapp though has stayed out, pardon me. So, here we go. Casey Bernard, I think, will get past these anyways. I think they will come in. Lee's come in, yeah. Which will help Casey Bernard on his way. Now, where will Casey Bernard come out here? Will he come out in front of the man he was fighting? I believe that's Brutus there, but that's Maxi Syme. So he's got past Maxi Syme. So he's jumped one of them. He hasn't jumped Brutus, but Brutus is now getting past Max Death into the next corner. Good racing between the two of them, and he's through. Max Death is going to be under pressure now from Casey Bernard, who's going to be wanting to get past quickly, and he's got Maxi Syme behind him. Max Death is getting out of the way though, and he's just getting out of the way, I believe. I don't know what happened there, unless he made a big error. But I think he's made a mistake by staying out here, as it's definitely enters. The rain is barely falling now. Very, very quickly and rapidly has got a lot drier here, and he's going to be under pressure now from Nexus Cats, who's now going down the inside. Look how much he's struggling. He's been absolutely swamped, and Kieran Trapp is going to lose the lead of this race here. No doubt about it. He's going to be really struggling on those tyres, and he's also sped into the pit lane as well. He's going to be well jumped here, I believe, because it's so much slower. And there's a yellow flag in Sector 2 and Sector 3. What that yellow flag is for, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's Oscar. We'll quickly jump to Oscar. Oh, yeah, Oscar's made a mess of it somewhere. Kieran Trapp's in the pits, but I think Brutus is going to easily jump. As you can see, Kieran Trapp's coming out. There's Brutus in the background. There's Kieran. Oh, no, maybe he's not. But he has got in front, but he's not actually as much as I thought. So Kieran Trapp has lost the lead. Brutus has jumped up to P1. Kieran managed to keep them going, but it was a lap too much. So there we go. Very interesting first 8 or 9 laps there. Still raining ever so slightly, but it's a lot drier than when they started. It was a very quick change over to enters there. I wonder what would have happened if any of them done it under the safety guard. They could have managed to not span out on those inters, how much time they would have gained, and probably have went to the lead. As there's a battle between Zombie and Max Death. Terrible camera angle, apologies. Sparks is now trying to get past Max Death. Max Death is just kind of giving up. Why is he still out on the blooming wets? Max Death, please, for your sanity, come in. Oh dearie me, Sparks is on the wets as well, actually, I've just noticed. So why is he still on the wets as well? It's clearly far too wet for it. Far too dry now for wet tyres. You can tell by the improvement, 20.9, which is not far off what they were doing in quali. It was an 18.9, so bearing in mind the fuel load that's on the car, that's a very, very solid lap time indeed. Casey Bernard, as thankfully they are now coming in pit. Sparks made that mistake actually, I forgot about the wets. He put on the wet tyres, which is hence why he's now back into Ventos. Max Death for some reason stayed out a lot longer than they probably should have on those tyres. Kieran Trapp is a second away from Brutus, just under a second now. I mean, look at the camera angle. What the bloody... Who wants to see this camera angle? Come on! Bloody horrendous. Honestly. Closing in a little bit through here. Oh, that's better. Kieran Trapp has picked up that 5-second time penalty, bear in mind. Zombie's picked up a penalty, Bossman as well. Max Death has, and Oscar's got a 5-second time penalty. Not sure if he served it under the last safety, the last pit stop he did, sorry. He probably did. I'll have a look. nearer the time in the race. Kieran's got a very decent exit there. And he's very close to the back of Brutus. Kieran sets a new fastest lap of the race, 20.8. Beats, pardon me, the previous best by about a 10. As Katamese then sets to 20.6. Katamese finding some pace down in P7. It's from P6 to P9. It's 2 Ferraris, then 2 Alphas. As Lecol picks up his first 3-second time penalty. He's up in P10 now, so he's had a solid start down from P16. Moved up 6 places, and we'll see if he can be able to stay there. A decent result from Lee, up 6 places from where he started. The gap's increasing slightly between the front two again. Maxi Symes not far behind Casey Bernard. Katamese is quite close to his teammate as well. Katamese's not picked up a penalty yet. Nice Cats has just picked up his first. So already picking up a few penalties here. Tricky circuit. You can see it is drying out. Yeah, I do think we will get to dry at some point in this race. Still far too wet at the moment, but yeah, we are drying out. It's much, much later. That's the same, still on the back of Casey Bernard. Not anywhere close enough to make a move. Sparks, however, is and has overtook Alex Pixie. Alex Pixie came back at him though, that was down the inside at the hairpin. He's thinking about a move back. Close, but not close enough. Oh, oh God, what is he doing? Well, far too late. Gonna allow Max to have a run on him. Not going to be quite close enough, but in the danger zone, definitely. Bossman picks up a 3-second time penalty, and that's his second he's had. But for P3's heating up a little bit. Kisman doesn't seem to be able to cope with the pace of the front two, and he's dropped off slightly. That's his Symes right there. And the trucker's not far behind either. But this could be a possible overtake coming very shortly. Kisman got a very good drive off that corner though. Be at the moment. Sparks is also closing in on the back. Terrible camera angle again. Closing quite quickly onto the back of Lecol. Looks like Lecol is going to be losing his P10 as Aaron Trucker. Here comes in the next man to pick up a 3-second time penalty. Lee is struggling to get that car turned in there. And Sparks. Oh, he's gone! Oh, he lost wing there. He's caught it. No, he's not lost wing there. He's caught it just about. A little bit too quick on the throttle there. He did a decent job to catch that there. He got a little bit of help from, I think, the wall on the outside. It kind of corrected that. It shows you it's still very damp out there. Still easy to make a mistake. Casey Bernard not getting those lines entirely right at the moment. Allowing Maxi Symes to get very close. And Kieran's still not got past out front. Still by a second is the gap. Maxi Symes, very good run through there. Going to put him right on the back towards the hairpin, onto the straight. Still see the leaders, a little bit of a sharper line. And who is that? Maxi Symes has nearly made the same mistake that Sparks has made. Clearly that corner is causing issues. As Matman is kind of way down. I don't know what is happening with. It's having a little bit of a glitch, I think, there. Matman's car at the moment with the revs. So sorry about that if it was a bit too loud. Apologies. So Sparks has managed to now get past Lecol after that mistake, but clearly that is the place where it is still the mistakes are happening. It's still clearly very slippy on the exit of the hairpin. And a few people getting a little bit too quick on the throttle. So watch out for that. The Ferraris are still pretty close together. There's a big gaps developing behind you. Matman is very, very detached. Says he doesn't like the wet. I can see that at the moment. He's really struggling. But Maxi Syme still not managed to find a way past up into the podium places. He made a mistake here on the power. Much better now. They're very cautious through there, aren't they? They're very, very pedestrian-like to cross that piece of track. It's very slippy. Katamis is a lot closer this time. He's just half a second away from his teammate. And a bit of a collision on the formation lap. Alright for them both so far. Doing very well up to quite a lot of place out there. P13, 14 or 14, 15, something like that. 6th and 7th at the moment, so a very solid improvement. Maxi Syme though is still there in P4. Desperad is losing a little bit more time. There's a few penalties popped in there, wasn't there? Not many, it was only 5 now that haven't got any penalties. Sparks, fastest lap, showing his pace. Alex Pixie up past Lee Call into turn 1. Lee Call made a big jump up for that little bit of incident. A bit of a moment there from Alex Pixie. Still very slippy out there, but it's getting drier. But yeah, he's falling slowly down the order now, and he's got his teammate directly behind him. Good evening, Aaron Taylor. Lee Corner making an appearance to watch another wet Grand Prix. Well, drying out considerably. Mattman, I think, has given up the ghost in the pits. I don't blame him now. He's solid 18 seconds behind, and he's not enjoying life on this track in damp conditions. We've only had one victim so far of that Wall of Champions. I do believe we'll have more by the end of the race. Can't believe we'll only have one. As usual, at least 2 or 3. So we shall see. Maxi Syme, no. Will he ever get past this car? He's going to get fed up looking at that pink Racing Point car. Aaron Trucker's getting a little bit closer now. He's nearly within a second. No, obviously no DRS at this point in time. Still drying out though, and I think there's still raining, but not very heavy at all. Max Def has now got past Lee Call on that straight, and Lee Call's picked up a 3-second time penalty for good measure, and now Oscar's right on the back, so Lee Call is beginning to struggle. Good evening, Dan Morris. They've won now. Saying, come on, Kieran, get the win for Williams. Well, he's got a 5-second time penalty to contend with. Dan still doing a good job, and Brutus is doing a stellar job out front at the moment. Ronaldo is losing touch a bit now, and I think he's holding up the 2 behind now. But Kieran's definitely in a solid P2 at the moment though, and Casey Bernard's got the pace to catch up to him. Watching this battle between the 2 Red Bulls. Max Steph leads the train. Lee Call's just been overtook by Max Steph, and Oscar is coming very quickly. And I think he's going to go down the inside, round the outside, sorry. Lee's on the inside. Oh, it's struggling to turn the car. He's just about getting it turned in. Oh, Oscar's had a moment. Oh, he's already got it. Oh, that, see, he nearly had that wiggle there. It's just as you cross through the curve, or the curb on the inside, is when that traction starts to go. Lee's struggling, and I think this is going to allow Oscar a run down there for the inside at turn 1. It's going to be difficult though on the way. Lee's going to go wide, he's going to brake too late. Oscar's going to go try and go round the outside. He's not going to have the line yet. Good battle in between the 2. Lee has a moment on traction, and that's going to allow Oscar through, and he's up into P12. Decent battle between the 2 of them in damp conditions. Maxi Syme is getting some plaudits from Aaron, saying he looks very smooth on track. Well, he was, but he very, very nearly ended up in the wall not long ago when he had that moment. Not far from where he was there, just as he exited that hairpin. He very, very nearly ended up retired and in the wall. So got a bit lucky. The rain actually stopped now. Yeah, Zombie is on mediums, good spot. And I think the rain has stopped. I don't see any raindrops now. So I have got what I wanted, a wet to dry race. DRS has not been activated yet, which is usually the sign. Kieran Trapp seems to be doing a good job all of a sudden. His picked up the pace a little bit. He was dropping back. He's now quickly getting back up to speed, and he's closed that gap from about 1.5 to under a second. Casey Bernard is falling ever slightly behind. He's not massively off the pace of the front two. It's a couple of attempts every lap, and it's just slowly creeping up. But he's got those two behind him, which are ever present and not really budging anywhere, to be fair. Next is Kat's kept a similar distance away. Kat's just dropped off the back ever so slightly, so while he's used a bit more tyres in the start of the race. Sparks obviously was late pitting on as he accidentally put on wets. If it wasn't for that, he'd be a lot closer to the front guys. As you can see though, there's very much a kind of dry bit of tarmac now. I'd say it's probably about half a lap off or a lap off dries. Let's watch Zombie as DRS is just enabled, so maybe it's now time. Let's watch. I mean, that gap is considerably closing and there's a lot of people in the pits now. Katamis is staying out, but he's having to stay out because his teammate came in, so he didn't want to double stack. Everyone's putting on the mediums to get to the end. Katamis obviously, sadly, is having to stay out. He's a full half a second up on his previous sector 2 time, and he's purple through sector 2 Zombie, so it's very much dry tyres. And the crossover point has came and gone now, I feel. Katamis sadly has picked up a penalty, his first. British yet to pick up a penalty, is in a very solid position. Kieran has dropped down to P4. He's been held in the pits because of that 5-second time penalty he's had. So he's got rid of that penalty now, but he's now done a P5, and it's a net P4 basically. And he's lost track position, which is it's not great, but it's not the worst thing around here, as you can quite easily overtake. It's a very straightforward track to overtake on, with a big long straight. He's now got Aaron Trucker. Sorry, for company. There's Max Steff as well. I can see he's very close to the back of Alex Pixie. He might make a move shortly, Max Steff. I'm sure Max Steff is still probably under the influence, and he's a little bit all over the shot there on the outside. Brutus has picked up his first penalty, and now Katamis has pitted. So, whilst the gap was about 1.5 seconds behind Nexus Cats, I believe that will be about at least 4 seconds now. Probably by the time it comes out, it might even be a bit more. It's, oh my god, it's even more than I thought. A lot, actually. It's coming down now. It's just the way the pit lane is. It is 4.4, so it's actually pretty spot on there. Maxi Sign, I mean, just got a penalty there as well. Spark sets a 17 flat. Oh yeah. Oh, that's yeah. Yeah, that was close, Max. Yeah, that's why you don't drive under the influence, kids. That was nearly race ending for the both of them there. Far too late on the brakes. By Max Steff. He's gone away for it. Casey Bernard is under big pressure now from Maxi Sign behind. He's got Kieran behind. I think that might be pushing Maxi Sign to get a bit of a move on here, as he's got the championship leader behind him. Maxi Sign though is going to waltz past very straightforwardly, and maybe Kieran might get a good run. Oh, he's a little bit too hot into there. Brutus sets the new fastest lap of the race, though Kieran's got an absolute mammoth run, as Casey Bernard didn't get the DRS. It's the way the DRS worked around here. Activation point's still the first, I believe, from the first DRS strip. Katamis has picked up another 3-second penalty. He did extremely well not picking up one, and now he's picked up 2 in the space of 2 laps. So Katamis needs to get his head back in the game, I think, as he was doing a really good job from down in P14, 15th. But that, Max Steff picks up a penalty, and then Zombie picks up a penalty. So as you can see, people are beginning to get a little bit more pushing, as Casey Bernard has missed that corner, but he's got away with it. People are pushing now, and the penalties are coming thick and fast around here, very much so. Kieran's done excellently to avoid it. The only penalty he got was that big 5-second one he got for speeding in the pit lane. Be ruining that in a moment now. Kieran Trapp though, it's definitely not over. He's, I think, I'd say he's on course still possibly to win this race at the moment at the pace he's going. in the penalty situation in front of him. As Brutus sets a new fastest lap of the race, but then Kieran beats it instantly, and he's down the inside of Maxi Sign. Maxi Sign gives him the room, and good little battle there, and both very respectful, and Kieran Trapp moves himself up, and now he can hunt after Brutus Beer, and I think Kieran Trapp is looking very, very good at the moment in terms of pace wise. Sparks 112.7. Sparks, I think, might have went for a bit more of a dry setup. We know he has paces. Last week I think he finished P2 when I wasn't here, and he's got a lot of pace. I mean, he's taken chunks of academies every sector. There's another fastest sector 1. He is, fair to say, he is absolutely flying. Sparks may not enjoy the wet, but he is, make no doubt about it, one of the fastest, if not the fastest in this league, I think. As he is absolutely flying. He's took over a second out of Academies, as Casey Bernard and Nexus Cats are fighting now. Nexus Cats is right on the back, as Kieran Trapp now has beat that Sparks time. Nexus Cats has got a run, and he's down the inside. I think Casey Bernard's going to hold it round the outside, and they're going to go side by side into turn 2. He's going to try and overtake round the outside, but I think Casey Bernard's got the traction out of the corner, though I think he's just about still there. He's going to win it now, and he's through, and Nexus Cats is going to have to work a little bit harder to get that move done. They're swapping fastest laps like it's no tomorrow at the moment, and Sparks takes it back off Kieran Trapp with an 11.5, and as I say that, Catamies was 13.8 seconds last lap around. Sparks has closed that. It's now 11.5. Anyone that is lapping about 2 seconds faster than Catamies is a very, very quick man. Make no doubt about it. Catamies is not slow. So he's a hell of a quick driver, Sparks. So watch out for him. Kieran Trapp has lost his Williams teammate in Dan Morris, and I think he's gained someone who's as quick, to be fair. So there we go. Just as I'm going on board, I think Nexus Cats. Oh, what's happening to Casey Bernard? Oh. Why is... Oh. I'm confused. He slowed down as if he was going into the pits there. Let a couple of people pass. So whether he's had to... I don't know. I don't think he has a wheel. I think he's pad. I was going to say maybe he had to adjust his wheel, but I think Casey Bernard, if I remember, it's pad. He's trying to slow down again. What's going on with Casey Bernard? Why is he... What's happening? Still in sector 1, for Casey Bernard. He's now started going back up to full speed again, so no idea what's happened to Casey Bernard, but he's down to P7 now. Kieran's got that gap from 3 seconds down to 2.3, so it's closing, but it's gradual. Bear in mind though, Brutus has that penalty. Kieran, once again, only man not to get penalties. He's absolutely excellent at driving around tracks without picking up penalties, especially around Canada, which is notorious for picking up penalties, and he's not. Picked up a thing. Dan Morris saying Sparks is a B-Tech Dan Morris. Nah, nobody can live up to you, Dan Morris. Thank you very much, Aaron. Very much appreciate that. Right. Where were we? Let's have a look down the order. What's happening? Zombie. I face Bernard is pitted and DNF. Now, what has happened is, with Casey Bernard, I have no idea, as the Alphas swap places very straightforwardly on the straights. A little bit of teamwork working together there, and Bossman moves up. And Catamies has picked up another 3 second thing. Catamies, what are you doing? How have you went 20 laps without picking up a penalty, and in the following 5 laps proceeded to get 9 seconds worth of penalties? What are you doing? And bear in mind, remember I said Sparks was, I think it was about 14 seconds, 15 seconds behind Catamies, down to 9.1. He's absolutely flying, that boy, right now. And yeah, make no doubt about it, he will have at least 2 victories by the end of the season. That is my prediction, and I stand by that. I think he will have a lot of wins, and he might be, if he stays in Div 2 next season, I think he might be the favourite for the title. I think he is awfully quick, and if he gets out of his rhythm, Kieran very, very hard to beat in certain tracks. Dan Morrison had to give Kieran an easy title. I'm sure he'd appreciate it. He's a very quick boy, is Kieran, and I think his strategy and his ability in terms of just pounding around the track, not picking up penalties and things like that. He's a very, very quick driver, and I noticed that a long time ago, before he started doing it in like the main divisions, when I started doing commentary and performance, and he was picking up some very, very solid results in performance, and he was going through the cars, and he was quite high up in the cars. I remember he was in like the Alpha Tauri at one point, and he was I think he was in the Alpha Tauri and kind of Renault and all that, and that was before he started really doing anything in the divisions and things like that. And I thought he was going to be someone to watch in the future in terms of Div 1 and Div 2, because he was a lot quicker than I thought he would be, and he won a few races in that, and he had a very solid season. And he's someone I definitely enjoy watching. Even a little bit like what I enjoy watching Dan. He's very, very smooth, and he's a great driver on this game, no doubt about it. Katmi's must have been struggling. He was losing tons of time to Sparks, and when I mean tons, I mean tons. And he's now pitted and put on softs, so maybe he's going for a bit of fun at the end. Max Steph and Lee Carl have also done the same, and I think Zombie is just about to do the same as well. He just got overtaken by his teammate, and now he's popped into the pits for some new tyres in it. So he's put on the soft tyres. Everyone else is staying out though on the mediums, as Kieran has now got that gap down to 1.4. Now he is closing, maybe not as quick as I thought he would, but at this rate he will be right there in a few laps time in the DRS. And the DRS helps massively around here as it's such a long straight, and then you've got this other straight as well. I think there's 3 DRS straights here. There's the main straight, then you've got that kind of curved straight between turn 5 and turn 6 and 7, something like that, I think. And then you've got that straight, obviously the big long straight with Lee Kovacs and our penalty, so you've got a solid 3 DRS straights around here. But Brutus has had a solid first sector and has extended that from 1.4 up to 1.8. So he's had a solid first sector, that's Brutus, so he has got a penalty, Kieran doesn't, so at the moment it's going to be quite straightforward. And Katamis is coming back into the pits again to fit another set of soft tyres. So will he's had a moment on the outlap, or will he try to take his wing in the last pit stop and made a mistake and didn't press yes? I think over to yes, sorry. Not sure. Um, 7 laps to go. Quieting down a bit after that bit of chaos start. Max Steph sets 1:10.6, bit of a battle for fastest lap here, I think. 4 drivers on the soft tyres. So we'll see. I think the fastest lap will be under the 10s, if I'm honest, though. If someone gets a good lap. But yeah, Kieran 1.4 it's back down to again. So I don't know, Kieran just had a dodgy lap, or Brutus had a very good one. But let's see. Brutus is put up to 1.6 again, so maybe Brutus is just a little bit better in the first sector than Kieran. Last few laps, so Sparks is still closing that gap down in front of him. He's got a very small chance of getting anywhere higher than 6th, as he made that mistake of putting on tyres. But I think it's about 16 seconds to take a pit stop away from here, and bear in mind he also got held up quite a lot, and he had that mistake he made as well where he lost a good 3 or 4 seconds. He'd be right up there towards the sharp end of the grid. So if it wasn't for that mistake, what could have been for Sparks, I don't think he would have won, but he would have definitely been up there. And he's definitely showed his pace in the dry. He's clearly much more competent in the dry than the wet at the moment. And he's pounding around still, and he's getting that gap down and down and down. Definitely over the next few weeks, I think he'll get a race win. That's line up with Kieran and Sparks. Yet again, Williams have the jackpot with another superstar lineup for Div 2. like a very, very straightforward Constructors' Championship for Williams. As Katamis has picked up another 3-second time penalty. He's picked up 12 now, after being one of the only drivers not to pick one up at one stage. Max has picked up another, so they're all pushing for that fastest lap, clearly. The battle I want to see is this one. Now, Kieran knows probably, well, I'm sure he knows that the man in front of him has a penalty, and he doesn't really need to fight particularly to get past, so whether he's just going to stay there. I'd love to see a battle for the lead though, but whether we're going to get it or not, I'm not sure. Big gaps developing though down the field at the moment. Everyone has penalties, bar Kieran Trapp. So, showing his might again in terms of the penalty situation. Sparks picking up a 3-second time penalty, that's 11 seconds now, under 11 seconds. So he's still flying along. There's Sparks. That gap he had to Aaron Trucker was at least 21 seconds or something, I think, when he came out. Last pit stop, he's closed that by about half now. So, pretty scary pace that from Sparks. Don't know if we're going to get about for the lead here. Not sure if Kieran's going to want to, or whether he's going to sit back. We can't indeed Casey Brown now. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! Never mind, we're not. Oh, it's a oh, here we go, people. Katamis has binned it at the Wall of Champions, and Oscar's just had a drive-through for speed on a safety car. Now this is probably the latest you can possibly get a safety car. It's going to be a last few laps battle, and I imagine maybe everyone. Who's going to come into the pits? Is anyone going to come in? Oh, Brutus has already caught up to the safety car actually. Sparks is in. Oh, now Sparks. Bearing in mind how quick Sparks is, now Kieran's in a great position because he's not got a penalty yet, but how quick Sparks is. A podium could be on for Sparks here. Is the issue these front 3 or 4 have got, is the position of when this happened is they could pit, and they've caught up to this safety car extremely quickly. So they're not going to be able to pit now, because if they pit they would come out behind Sparks probably. Because Sparks will have a chance to catch up. So I think all of these guys near the front will stay out on these tyres. And I think that's going to make for what can only be described as a pretty incredible end to this race. With the front 5 all going to be on warm mediums, and the back end of the field, the back 7, all on fresh softs for what's going to be a 3-lap sprint, I'd imagine, or a 2-lap sprint at the end. How much damage can the soft tyre runners do compared to the medium runners who are a bit worn tyres now? Here we go, a grand finale. It's been an enjoyable race. We started on the wets, we went to inters, we went to dries, we've had 2 safety cars now, and this safety car right at the very end, at the last possible point to get a safety car, and it's come out as Katamis has binned it in the Wall of Champions. Everyone's catching up to the back of the safety car. Other than Lee, I think, though Lee's lapped, I believe, so not sure about Max there. I can check though. Interval. Yeah, Max Def and Lee Call have both been lapped. So sadly for them, we're getting away a little bit here. Where's Sparks? Is he behind Lee Call? He's behind the 2 Red Bulls actually. So this is going to be a bit of a nightmare for Sparks actually, I think. by how much extra pace is he going to have over these medium runners, but have these two guys to lap who I really hope get out of the way. It's going to be a 2-lap sprint here at the end. Brutus is going to have to let this safety car get out of the way. Here we go, 2 laps. Kieran's going to have to watch himself. He's in prime position with no penalties, but watch out for the guys behind. You've got 6 runners on mediums and 6 runners on softs, 5 of which are on fresh softs, 1 of which is on worn soft. But 4 retirements. It's all going to come down to the final 2 laps as he gets it underway. Brutus goes forward and he gets us off and away. Here we go. What's going to happen with Sparks? Is he getting past? Remember, they do ghost, so he's going to go for it, I think, here, Sparks. I think Sparks is the man to watch here on the soft tyres. He's going to be catching up rapidly onto the back of the people on the medium runners. Kieran Trapp is under pressure from Maxi Sign behind. It's a last lap battle, I think we're going to get to towards the end here. Sparks is closing in under a second now. Alex Pixie has picked up a 3-second time penalty. In P7, Sparks is right on the back now of Aaron Trucker. No, that's not that, sorry, that's the second Red Bull. Apologies, Bossman's getting past now as Alex Pixie's under pressure on the medium tyre. No, luckily for him, the rest of them are all on worn tyres. Sparks is getting past, up he goes, past he goes, up into P5 with a lap to go. He gets past, nothing's happening out front, but Sparks is flying up into P5, he's coming. How far can he get up the field? Kieran Trapp is closing back in the back of Brutus onto the last lap. Still not got a penalty as there's a lock up into turn 1 and turn 2 from Brutus. Sparks is closing into the back of Nexus Cats. How close can he get? He's going to need to be a little bit more opportunistic here. He's going to have to get back up to Maxi Sign to see if he can get a podium. All depends on his penalties, obviously. I think he's picked up a fair few, but whether the front 2 have picked up, or the front 3 have picked up more than him. Here we go, Sparks. This is it. He needs past, and he can't get past. He's not going to be able to get past yet. He's flying around this section now, and he's going to go down the inside into the hairpin for the final time, and he gets past and up he goes up into P4. He's going to start catching up to back in Maxi Sign, but he's not going to have enough time, and it's going to get towards the end. Brutus is going to come round the final corner. He's going to lead on track, but in terms of who's going to win this race, it's going to be Kieran Trapp. Brutus comes round to take it on track, but Kieran Trapp takes the win. Maxi Sign takes P3, Nexus Cats takes P4, Aaron Trucker takes P5, Sparks dropped all the way down to P6 after penalties, Alex Pixie takes P7, Bossman takes P8, Zombie is going to take P8, sorry, as he jumped Bossman even though he's miles behind. Oscar is going to be the last man to cross the finish line to take P10, so it's actually 12 finishers we got as he comes across the line. And there we go, Kieran Trapp takes another victory. Oh God. There we go. Driver of the day awarded by the game to Nexus Cats for his recovery drive from down the field. And there we go, Kieran Trapp with another victory. Brutus with a fantastic podium. Unlucky he got the penalties though. And fastest lap went to Oscar down in P10 with his last lap. Maxi Sign P3, Nexus Cats P4, Aaron Trucker P5, Sparks P6, Alex Pixie P7, Zombie P8, Bossman 9th, Oscar 10th, Backstep 11th, Lee Call P12. And sadly Catamies, Casey Bernard, Matman and YouWatch_Babunji, who didn't complete a lap, became a cropper under difficult conditions here at the circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. But that concludes this evening's action. So Kieran Trapp extends his lead at the top of the table, top of the championship, and that concludes the action as I said. So let's have a little look. What have we got next week? So obviously we've got GT tomorrow. I think Friday I've got GT as well this week. I think it's time. And then obviously ACC back Monday. Next Tuesday, Wednesday, we've got 3 weeks left, and we're off to Monza next week. So there we go. We're off to Monza, the Temple of Speed, next week, and then the following week after that, it's Japan, so Suzuka, and then it's the final week at Mexico, which is a full qualifying. So we'll have an awful lot of time on air then. So good luck to me then. We'll be on air for at least 2.5 hours, I think, probably. So let's see how that goes on the last week. But thank you very much for joining me, yes, again, and have a nice night.